as India successfully lands a spacecraft on the moon.
Waving the country's flag, Prime Minister Narendra Modi describes it as a victory cry of new India.
This success by other countries in the future.
Chandrayaan 3, meaning mooncraft, began its slow journey in July, launching from the country's south. Already it's sending back images and will spend 2 weeks observing and gathering information about the moon's crust. Scientists believe frozen water and precious elements might be found, which could be used for supplies for a moon colony and deep space exploration. Coming just days after a Russian ship crashed while trying to land on the moon, this heralds India's emergence as a major player in space. Mr. Modi says India's next target, putting people on the moon. The sky is no longer the limit.
Well, let's bring in astrophysicist Brad Tucker from Canberra. Good morning to you, Brad.
Hello, Brad.
Why is India so keen to join the space race?
A few different reasons. It shows that you technologically are able to do it in that elite club of having enough expertise and know-how. And the moon is always seen as one of these hardest goals to accomplish, and it rightfully is. But also to further their own ambitions in space as well. There's a lot of effort of going not just back to the moon, but staying there for longer-term goals. And then using broader space technology on Earth, and we've seen this time and time again. So there's a little bit of national pride, there's a little bit of development in-house with their own country, and to show the other space powers, really the US, Russia, and China, that they essentially can do the same that those other countries can and are equals to them. And I think, as we saw last night, that is now
in the world to land a spacecraft near the moon's south pole, a moment of history for the country. It was a tense final 6 minutes as it descended onto the lunar surface. Let's show you the moment. First of all, let's take you inside the control room just before landing. Remember, this was an uncrewed spacecraft, so no one on board, everything controlled from here in the control room. And just to explain what we're going to see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wasn't there, so he was being beamed in on a screen to watch. Also on the screen was a graphic, computer-generated representation of the lander as it descended. Right.
In India has become the first to land on the south pole of the moon. India is the fourth country to land on the moon after the US, the former USSR, and China. And it's the second country after China to land on the far side of the moon, which faces away from the Earth. The landing comes 4 days after a Russian craft crashed en route to the moon. India previously failed to land on the moon in 2019.
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary, Department of Space and
It is something that we kind of shared this morning. I mean, the president congratulates India, obviously. It was within the OPGA office, many of the Indian colleagues were celebrating that achievement.
Congratulations to ISRO and all of the people of India. And this is a victory not just for India, but for the entire world as we go into this new era of lunar development, and India is leading the way. It's amazing to have the success that Chandrayaan 3 has had, given the relatively little amount of resources that India has used. It's just a triumph of Indian innovation, human capital, and the capabilities that will take India even farther. And that's what I'm so excited about. This is just a first step on the amazing journey of discovery that India is on. Having signed the Artemis Accords, now as part of the Artemis Accords effort in the family of nations, this is just the beginning of the journey of India, along with international partners, developing the moon, not only for scientific and discovery and exploration with ISRO and civil space agencies, but I'm even more excited about is India's interface development with commercial space companies, such as my own with Redwire, where we're building parts of the Lunar Gateway, developing systems on the moon to create landing pads. India joining the private sector will drive a new golden age in commercial space and can transform what commercial space is, not only for India and the US, but globally. So congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. And again, this is just the beginning of a new era led by India. Fantastic to see the flag, and not just Chandrayaan 3 and the hardware and the science, but our values, our shared values between India and the US of democracy, of freedom and liberty on the moon. Congratulations to